Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeff, also known as Fro. Hey Fro. I'm a reseller. I've been a full-time reseller for over 8 years, part-time 4 years before that, so over 12 years experience. And we're going to talk about some things that sold. We're going to talk about a couple topics of conversation today. Facebook Marketplace, and let's see, yeah, I think that's going to be that, and just eBay. A topic that I kind of want to talk about because I felt relatively bigger YouTube. Well, he is a bigger YouTube / reseller on YouTube and on eBay. James over at My Boring Reseller Life, he brought something up today. Not like a topic of conversation, it was more like just something that he kind of threw out there in his videos that he, it's just him talking about reselling in general. And I appreciate his videos because I feel like we sell a lot of similar items in terms of like nothing like, not like high resale value, just like normal everyday stuff that lots of people pass over. I think we both find joy in selling those kinds of items. But he made a statement today that I have been thinking about, and I agree with him on this, but I have no basis I have no information to support. It's just something that I have noticed as a reseller. So he was basically commenting on the fact that he has, and this dude, super hard worker. Like he lists like hundreds of items a day. He's got like, I don't know, like 52,000 listings. I mean, he's a machine. He sells a lot. And I mean, personally, I think he works too hard, but he likes what he does. So who am I to judge? Like, I just don't want to work that hard. I don't want to sell that many items. I don't want to list that many things. But I mean, I've got 8,200 items. So, my store, I have 2 stores, and combined, I've got 8,200 there. I've got 500 plus locally. So, I'm up there in terms of listings. But his comment was how his impressions are down and his sales are down, but his listings are up. And it's the same thing that I have been thinking about, how, I've always been on the belief that if I just keep listing, my sales are going to go up. And that does not seem to be the case. And it doesn't really make any sense because I'm not doing anything different. And he kind of made a comment that, I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but basically it was like that eBay allots a certain amount of sales, views, sending you X amount of traffic to your listings, and it's almost like there's a cap. It's like there's not enough to go around, so they send you X amount. And it's possible that amount has been decreasing. Now, I've been toying with the idea of potentially, because when I had one store, I kind of felt like that as well years ago. And then my wife opened up another store, which I essentially manage. And for a while there, it seemed like both stores kind of mirrored each other with total sales. And so I'm wondering in my mind, maybe it's time to open up a third store. Maybe that's the only way to kind of get ahead in eBay, is to have multiple stores. And there's other benefits to having multiple stores. It's like, with the whole Vero policies and everything. So it's like you're spreading out your risk, right? But I don't think I'm ready to open up a third store to have to manage that. But he said, again, this is what he was saying, is how like he was theorizing that that's one possible thing. And he was getting that information, I think, based on his beliefs also, and potentially from some of his viewers who has expressed that same exact sentiment, that you know, eBay almost caps. And I don't know why they would do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't really make any sense at all. So I don't know if I believe it, but all I'm basing that on is kind of like my own personal experience with having one store and then having two stores, listing more and more items, but sales not increasing. And yeah, I know people can say, oh, well, maybe the items that you're selling aren't desirable. Maybe your pricings are too high, and all of those things are true. But I mean, I'm continually working and tweaking all of these things. We don't really know what's going to sell. For instance, I've got a couple items. These have already shipped, but I'm going to show you. So this was a pin, and it was Trudeau Bassford. It's an old vintage pin. You look at this and you might think, you know, this has no value at all, but it sold for 30 bucks. I listed it last night and it sold overnight. I probably sold it too cheap. This is Justin Trudeau's father, who was in politics in the 60s and 70s, I think, in Canada. Yeah, I priced it a little bit higher than I normally price my buttons because I figured that was the case. I didn't expect it to sell that fast. Another button, this was a 2-button lot. I listed this last night and literally sold within a couple of hours. It was Powell River News, Paper Town Pals. Powell River is a city off of the coast of British Columbia. It's a small town. This person, apparently their father had this pin or something to the effect. That sold for, what did that sell for? $13. And then he added this pin, Captain Cook Bicentennial, British Columbia, Canada pin. He added that for another $3.50. Now, I think I had it listed for $7. I wouldn't normally accept an offer for 50% off, but because he already had an open order, you know, I looked to increase my per order amount. So I figured, you know, why not? And actually, to be honest with you, I think I actually have more of that particular button somewhere. So I was okay with that. Button, I've just been listing buttons most of this week. This has been a bit of a strange week because my wife's away. She's cat sitting for a friend. She has the car. I haven't gone out thrifting since Monday. I don't think I've gone this many days without going out thrifting since I had COVID a few months ago. So I'm looking forward to her coming back tomorrow, and I'll be going out. But you know, the nice thing about buttons is you just don't know which ones are going to sell, and they're super easy to ship. They're super cost effective to ship. You know, part of me thinks that if I do open a third eBay store, it might just be like all buttons, pins, and patches. Like, to me, and then I don't know, that just seems like something that I want to go to. I know I've mentioned this before, but I would just love to have a store that is just that, just a store with like 50,000 plus items of just low cost shipping things. I just, you know, there's just something I'm thinking about. This sold for $60. This I actually purchased at a Comic-Con pre-COVID. This was a sketch that was done, Street Fighter. I actually did not really make, I about broke even on this. This was an experiment that I did, and it didn't really work out. So I just accepted this today just to get some things, get some flow going in my store, because sales, you know, even though a few things have been selling, I had a big sale yesterday, had some nice local sales this week. Overall, hold on a second, my phone is dying. Overall, things have been very slow. Like, we are really in the full-time summer slowdown effect, unfortunately. This item sold a few days ago. So Miffy, I don't know if you can see, Miffy is like this white bunny. It's a character, it's like an anime character that's created by I think it's either Sanex or Sanrio. anyhow, this little bag is it's kind of unusual because it says Kodak on it. I don't know if you can see that, Kodak, and it says 1969, and it's in incredible shape. If it really is that old, this sold for 15, but then the buyer just never paid. So I just relisted it tonight. Now, something that I like to do, now I accepted a pretty significantly lower offer from what I listed this at, just due to the condition, and I'm assuming this is extremely rare. What I like to do when I relist things is either bump up the price, which I did not in this case, but also set a minimum in the offer above. I set it above 15. So either in the case that if the buyer decides that he wants to resubmit that same offer, you know, in my opinion, that price is off the table now. Like, you get one shot with me to get a really good deal, and if you just don't pay, like, I don't know, there's just not a lot of excuses for that. Now, I have not been hit with a lot of cancellations and non-pays. I know some people were speaking to that it's kind of rampant right now. I've not seen that, but everybody has their own experiences. Let's talk about. So I sold a print by Robert Bateman. Robert Bateman is a local artist around the Vancouver area, and he does a lot of nature stuff. Now, this isn't the exact one that sold. It's the same exact print that I sold, but it was of a lesser quality. I've already started packaging that one up. That sold for, I believe it was for 34, 33.83 plus shipping. So I believe it was like plus $7 or $8 shipping and handling. Was happy. I don't know why I had two in stock in my listed area, but the lesser quality one sold, so I'll be able to list that one. Hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit more out of that one. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm hoping that some of you can share your experiences with this. So I sell on Facebook Marketplace, and I get this notice tonight that my account is at risk of losing my marketplace status or the ability to buy and sell on Marketplace. Now, Facebook is so frustrating. Like, literally tonight, I had this Shiseido moisturizer thing listed, and it had been listed. And so the thing about Facebook is you list something and then you have to delete and relist it, or delete and sell similar, and then you have to delete, you have to relist it. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I do get a lot of sales from Facebook Marketplace. Now, tonight I get a message from Facebook. It's been listed for months, but it was up for to be relisted, so I relisted it, and I get this notice saying this goes against Facebook Marketplaces due to like weapons. Basically, they think I'm selling weapons, and I message them. I'm like, I try to get them to review it, and I'm like, this is just like women's lotion, women's facial moisturizer. This is not a weapon, and it was declined. Now, I've had Christmas ornaments that have pets on them, so there's like different kind of pets, and you can personalize them. You can like you can write your dog's name on it, and then you give it away as a gift. I've had those flagged for trying to sell pets, which I guess you're not supposed to do on Facebook Marketplace, but they're just Christmas ornaments. I've had a number of different items. I had a pair of Nike shoes that were flagged, and I knew that they were authentic. In fact, they literally sold at eBay 2 weeks ago. The Kobe's that sold, they went through the I can never get that word right. They were authentic. Authentication, I don't know. Anyhow, they went through that process, They were verified to be 100% accurate, and they were shipped to the customer. Well, that actually reminds me of another thing. I'll talk about that now, and then I'll circle back to the Facebook thing. The buyer who bought those Kobe shoes off of me filed a item not received case, and I found it interesting that eBay, so the shoes I shipped to eBay, they verified them and then they sent them off to the people, the customer who bought them. And in all of that time, and I don't know why eBay doesn't push the receive time back, because it's got to go from here to wherever there are the places that verifies them, and then it goes from there to the customer. But anyhow, the customer opened a case saying item not received. So eBay messages me, they're like, don't worry about it, we got you, you don't have to do anything, and we'll close it. So apparently they refunded the customer $50. I'm guessing that's just kind of like a shut up, you know, here's $50, they're on their way. But like, what kind of precedent is that? Like, why should eBay even have to do that? Because at the end of the day, anytime eBay is doing stuff like that, it's coming out of our pockets. Like, it's not eBay refunding them $50. Yes, it is. But eBay has found new and creative ways to take money from us sellers. And so we're the ones who pay for that. I totally disagree, because eBay should have had a tracking number on that. They could have just uploaded and said, hey, it's on the way. Like, you're not getting anything. Instead, they literally gave them 1/7 of the cost back. I just don't agree with that. I just do not agree with that kind of behavior. It's like, I subscribe to the do not reward bad behavior, and that is bad behavior. Like, if the item is on the way and you can show that there's a tracking number just because it's late, so what? Like, anyhow, circling back to Facebook, they are so bad. How bad are they? No, they're so bad because there's nobody you can talk to. It's like they make all the rules and you can't talk to anybody. You can't really dispute it. Like, I have literally heard of other people saying that they have tried to sell like Tommy Hilfiger clothing. Now, this is not an experience from me, so I don't know if this is true. So I kind of want to hear from you guys what kind of experiences you've had from Facebook Marketplace. Have you ever had any luck reaching anybody? Like, when I disputed that thing tonight, they just declined it. No explanation, no nothing. And so anyhow, the Tommy Hilfiger, I've literally heard people say that they've listed Tommy Hilfiger clothes and their items get flagged for human trafficking. Like, if that's true, that is so ridiculous and preposterous that a company like Facebook relies so heavily on keywords and not heavily on common sense. But so anyhow, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I've already kind of started another Facebook account. I'm expecting eventually to just lose my Facebook Marketplace. Like, I have literally tried to do and be as careful as I can about listing anything on Facebook Marketplace that would get flagged, and I still get flagged. And it's just a reminder of like how frustrating it is in this world to just do anything these days. It's like there's all these regulations, there's all these rules, and I don't know, man. Man, things were so much simpler like 30 years ago. I don't know. It's frustrating, but what experience have you guys had with Facebook Marketplace? How do you guys deal with it? What other platforms do you use for local sales that you have found that have actually worked? That's what I'm curious about. I feel like there's a lack of, there's Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist is great because it's like the Wild West. but it's not as great because people don't trust it as much. I mean, I've had incredible luck buying and selling on Craigslist. I've had great luck selling on Facebook Marketplace and buying on Marketplace. In fact, if I lose my Facebook Marketplace privilege, the ability to not buy on there would be extremely harmful to me. And that's why I'm just already thinking about having to start another Facebook account. And I don't know how Facebook tracks and if there is going to be any complications with that. But I mean, it's already a pain to have to start another Facebook account, although I don't really actually use Facebook, Facebook. I haven't used it for years. Like, I just don't, I just don't post on there anymore. But yeah, I don't know. If I'm not complaining about eBay, I feel like I'm complaining about Facebook Marketplace to myself, just because it feels like in some regards, eBay is a dream compared to Marketplace, because at least you can talk to people. At least you can reason with the representatives on there. Facebook Marketplace is just this no face, no voice machine. And we're just stuck in their matrix, and we have to just accept everything they say, even if it's completely stupid and makes no sense at all. I don't know how they can think a cream is a weapon. Anyhow, if you're still here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe, like, whatever you found value. It's the only way that I know that the information that I'm putting out, people are finding value and they like. I don't really ask very often, but I do. It does help me out a little bit. So anyhow, we'll talk to you guys soon. Happy Friday coming up, and it's another weekend of garage sales, so that's always fun to look forward to. Nothing like a garage sale to just distract us from the annoyingness of a life that life throws at us. So, all right, guys, have a good evening.